And that's cool, that's cool. Everything's looking good.
Ah, it's a pro. It's a pro move
Yeah,
right there.
well, you know me.
That's a pro.
All right, here we go. Greetings folks, Jason McNamara here from Electric Encounters, and you all know me as what I do, but we'll get back to this on another video. I'm standing here with my very good friend, Mr. Mike Orrigo, who is the...
my name's Mike Orrigo, and I am here at NAMM. I don't know why. I have no idea why I'm here.
But tell them what you do. Come on, let's not be... I know you're... Listen, I know you're shy, all right?
No.
Let's just tell them.
I'm the Ibanez Artist Relations Manager at Ibanez.
That's correct. You did well, mate.
Yeah.
Look, Mike's camera shy. I'm not here to do a silly video. I know you guys want to see this, so let's get into it. This guitar here is the brand new Steve I model. Now, I saw Steve last month when he was in Japan for the Generation Axe tour. Stay here, because we're going to talk about this together. So I saw Steve last month, and he told me I'm doing my first new guitar in, what's it been, 35 years, right?
Give or take, yeah. It's not quite, but just about.
So hang on, so am I doing my math right? 25 or 35 for the Gem was 1990.
No, it's almost 35.
It is.
1987 was the first year of the Gem.
Of the Gem. Sorry, yeah. So it's been a very long time. And we've got a serious update of something new. So let's get into what's new and what's different. And please tell us along the way where the ideas came from and what was going on in Steve's head, because he's not here, but you did this with him, so you can tell them better than anybody.
Well, yeah, so Steve was really the catalyst here. Us at Ibanez are very blessed to be able to work with Steve for so long. Steve has been one of our artists for over 30 years, and we've had tremendous success together with the Ibanez Gem. This is his first signature model with Ibanez. And it's been a 30-year success. It's been a long time. And I think if I had to pinpoint one time where we knew that we were going to work on something new for Steve was that the 30th anniversary of the NAMM show was 2017. And
with the 7-stringers, all right? With the Universe.
No, it was the 30th anniversary of...
Yes, the reissues.
The reissues, right.
Yeah.
So we had kind of similar to these colors. But so we were doing 30 years of the Gem at the NAMM show, 2017. And I remember Steve looking at the display and being really impressed and just being, reflective of 30 years. And he kind of looked over to me and goes, you know what, Mike, this is all great, but I got an idea. I got something in my head. I think it's time to change it up a little bit.
I was at NAMM, and we were celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Gem, and the idea of changing or evolving the guitar a bit started to become very attractive.
So we had a meeting that show. We had a meeting upstairs, right up here, and we talked about what he had in mind. And from that point on, we knew what we had to do. Our work at Oshino was cut out for us, and along with Steve, we started working on some new ideas. And then, lo and behold, a couple years later, we have the Ibanez PIA.
So take that in, folks. The idea for the PIA was spawned during the demonstration here of the anniversary in 2017, the 30th anniversary of the Gem. That's pretty cool that Steve got that idea here at NAMM.
I wouldn't say that was the one factor. There was a lot. I think Steve had a circle in his head, but that's when we really knew as partner with Steve with his guitars that we were going to start working on something new.
Aside from all the other things, because look, we all saw the photos online of the new grip.
The grip here, this design, was also reminiscent of flower petals, the most beautiful part of the flower. It's also very reminiscent of the yin and yang sign, yin and yang, which depicts balance.
Yeah.
But when I walked up to it, what struck me the most was the contours here. What's going on with that?
Yeah, that was definitely something Steve wanted to do. We've softened them. The Gem was not a 90-degree angle. There was a slight bevel, but this is a lot rounder than the Gem or the RG. And that was something Steve wanted to do.
Especially here. It was something I always actually wanted to do, because then when you sit with the guitar, it just feels more organic, more comfortable.
He wanted something softer, and we were able to achieve that with the new contours of the PIA.
So what we did with the PIA was kind of beveled these a bit and changed the contours of some of the cutaways to kind of be proportionate with the contours of the pedal grip.
What's the story with the inlays? Like, it's coloured, actually, well, you tell me, I'm not going to guess. What's the story?
So with the inlays, it's cool. So when we were coming up with the the Ibanez PIA, when we were working on details, an idea came between Steve and us, and like, this is a big change, and like, how can we celebrate the gem as well as celebrating a brand new model? And what we thought would be cool is kind of tying into the 1987 release, and that's why you're seeing these 3 limited edition colors. These are the same. Well, these are inspired by the 3 finishes that we offered the first gem, the Gems 777, in the same finishes, or not. I'm sorry, not the same, but inspired by. Loch Ness green, shocking pink, and desert yellow. And then, so the inlay,
We call it the PIA Blossom.
is kind of reminiscent of both the gem, the history of the gem. So you have the different colored pieces are all kind of reminiscent of the original Gems inlay, which is not the Tree of Life, but it was the pyramid. So, it had the pink, the yellow, and the green pyramid. So we kind of play with that, and it's a completely new inlay, actually. It's different than the Tree of Life. We're calling it the PIA Blossom, and it's tweaked. The pedal grip is the design kind of is inherent in all features of the guitar, the pickup covers, and also on the inlay. We have a little bit of the little pedal grips kind of repeated in now. So if you look at the guitar, it's kind of fun. It's like you can count how many times this pedal grip is kind of reproduced or just synchronized with other elements of the guitar.
That makes sense now I'm looking at it. So the pedal grips are actually made out of abalone. What are the other parts made out of?
That's just acrylic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And you've coloured them all, obviously. Now, you just mentioned in there that these are limited edition colours. Was that a Freudian slip, or these are actually only limited?
Yeah, these. So the only regular model is going to be the white one.
Right.
Stallion White. For 2020, to make the release extra special, we're offering these 3 finishes: Panther Pink, Envy Green, and Sundew Gold, as limited edition finishes for this 2020 only.
So is there a number on how many are being made, or are they being made for one calendar year, or what?
I'm not at liberty to say, but they're all limited. And they'll only be available this year. So if you want one of these, contact your local Ibanez retailer. Try to get one, because they're going, and they're going fast. We'll be releasing 3 limited edition finishes in 2020, along with Stallion White.
Can you flip the guitar over for us, Mike?
Sure.
Can you show the folks this? This is so cool.
Yeah, so this is something that Steve's really happy with, and we are happy as well. And this is something that's kind of like a head slapper. It's like, why didn't we do this earlier? But you can see this metal backplate, and you might be wondering, well, why is it metal? Usually they're made out of plastic. And another thing you might be noticing is they're missing the screws. That's because, boom, it's magnetic now, and that's pretty cool.
Look at this. Okay? Magnets. You know how much time you spend changing strings because of these little screws? Not anymore, brother.
We're really excited about that. I mean, it's going to change, whenever you have to increase or decrease the spring claw tension, it's going to make it that much easier now. Steve likes to describe it, whenever you drop a screw and carpet on the floor, that's like the abyss. I'm stealing his line, but it's true.
That's the abyss for a screw.
Yeah, I mean, you drop one of those screws and you might as well just forget about it.
You never find it.
Now you don't have to worry about that. Now as long as you can just, stick it back right on, it goes right on. It's really easy. It almost requires no effort, but you don't have to worry about it falling off.
Love that.
Now I'm noticing this is a little bit different here too. What's the story?
A lot of it's probably it's still the all-axis neck grip. The neck joint, all-axis neck joint. So we tweaked it a little bit, but for majority, the tweak is coming from this new lower horn scoop.
This cutaway here.
So it's kind of leveling out there, so that's why it looks a little different, but it's basically, your standard Ibanez all-axis neck joint.
When you grip this instrument here, it's even smoother.
And the neck, its dimensions are exactly the same as the old Gem?
Yes, we're going with the Gem neck. Because that's what Steve knows, he loves. Yep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Still an older body?
It's an older body, correct.
I know my Ibanez's, mate, but I want to know if it had changed or not. I wasn't sure about that.
No, you're right. Gem has a history of going between Alder and Basswood, but this will be similar to the Gem 7V. This will be an Alder body.
And do you know the reason why Steve went through ebony for a little while in the 90s and has stuck with rosewood since?
You'd have to probably ask Steve that. I'm not sure. It's before my time at Ibanez, so
I'll just give him a call.
Yeah, hey, why not? But he's definitely a big fan of rosewood. He's a big proponent. He wanted to make sure that this model had a rosewood fretboard, and we delivered.
I've kind of been waiting for forever for him to release a production model gem with a maple board again, because he hasn't done that since like the original gems back in the day that I can remember.
We do have the premium gem, the floral pattern.
Yeah, but I like Japanese stuff. I'm a snob.
All right, okay. All right. Can't please everybody.
One of the coolest aspects of this guitar for me, in its aesthetic, is these pickup covers.
The pickups, what's the story?
The pickups, so these are the new DiMarzio UtoPIA pickups, and these are really, really special. They help tie the guitar together. I dig them a lot.
They were designed by Mike Mesker.
As you can see, they're incredible. They're a laser-etched metal cover in matte gold.
With the PIA, the UtoPIA pickup,
A graphic designer who's incredible, a close friend of Steve and a close friend of Larry's.
And if you look closely at them, they actually pick up various designs of the pedal grip.
We've been, collaborating with DiMarzio and Steve,
Since the very beginning.
since the very beginning. And, it's great to have this new pickup to go along with these new guitars. What's really cool about these pickups is that you can see DiMarzio's done some other etched covers, but what makes the UtoPIA slightly unique, or very unique, is that they added an element between the pickup bobbin and the cover. And this is there's an insert here, and there's another separate pattern that's printed onto the insert.
I can see that. That
kind
looks
of
cool.
plays with the cover. So it's a really, really cool design element, and you don't really see it until you get up close, but it really adds an element of depth that I've never seen in a pickup before, and I think it's fantastic. And the single coil's also has a pattern printed on it too. It's just fantastic.
We started out with an Evolution pickup, and I wanted to have a little more softer top end, friendlier, and a little less mids and a tighter bottom end, and just a tad more output. So it's a little more powerful.
And what's with the tap? What's the story there?
So this is really cool. So working with Steve for as many years as we have, there's some things that he's developed a liking to in terms of his own personal guitars. And one of the guitars that pretty much all of his personal guitars have, Evo, Flow 3. What we've been doing lately in the last few years is adding a high-pass filter to the guitar circuit.
Like Joe's guitar.
Like Joe's guitar, similar, right. So what the high-pass circuit does, for those that are not familiar with it, it's just when you roll off the volume on a guitar, some of the high end rolls off.
Some? A lot.
A lot. Well, I was being generous. But what this does, we add a capacitor to the circuit, to the output. And what it basically is a high pass filter. So it shells off some of that low to match with the highs. And so it sounds a lot less woofy, a lot less low end being lost. A lot less high end being lost.
For those of you who don't quite get what he's saying, get your own guitar, get a decent distortion sound, put the volume on full and listen to it, then start rolling off the volume and just listen how not only does the amount of distortion drop, it starts getting a little bit muffled like this and the sound really changes. So just try it with your own guitar, and then if you go into a store and try a Joe Satriani, and there's a few other guitars that do it, essentially allows the high end to stay, and so it stays bright. Even drop down to just a little bit of volume, it's really twangy and it gives you very much a telly-like kind of a twang.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I started putting these volume capacitors in my guitars, in my gems.
It's the video that I made for Steve back in 2014, I think we did that, with the GoPro hanging from here. You'll see Steve doing all this stuff and pulling the switch up even back then. This is the first time he's put it on a production model, right?
For Steve, right. As you mentioned, we do some ones for Joe. Joe's, the JS model features it. But for Steve, this is the first time it's featured on a gem.
Yeah.
Or, a PIA.
Sorry, of course. And the last, of course, the name PIA, for those who don't know, comes from his darling wife, PIA.
Right, but also for you're right, that's true. Steve's wife is named PIA. But we're also calling PIA as an acronym for also Paradise in Art.
I love that I didn't even know that. So what is it again?
Paradise in Art.
That's awesome. Mike, thank you so much for your time, man.
Jason.
All the Ibanez fans out there are going to love getting this from the man. So, again, Mike Orrigo is the guy that Steve did all these designs and got all the specs ready for Ibanez with. So, Steve's not here. This is the very next best source you're going to get for the information.
It's definitely a team effort. I can't take it. I'm just a small part in this. all of us at Ibanez are
you're
ecstatic.
so modest.
Well, no, it's true. I can only say so much. I work with a great team of people, and we're really looking out and Steve as well. We're looking out for all the guitar players out there, and we're trying to make products that really appeal to them. So hopefully everybody likes it. We couldn't be happier with it. And pick it up, check it out. It's worth checking out. It's worth your time, and hopefully you'll be able to get one of these days soon.
And just remember, if your fantasy is to get one of the coloured ones, hurry up and get an order in because they're only available this year.
All of us at Ibanez could not be more excited about the new PIA model.
Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Please like the video. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of comments. I don't even need to ask for them. And Mike, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jason.
Rock on.